Alright guys and gals, today we are talking about the difference between a chip and a pitch. A chip is a delicious salty snack, usually made out of potatoes, and so the easiest way I've come up with to explain a chip versus a pitch. In a chip, we have no wrists. In a pitch, we have wrists. Okay, I'll use a whole gamut of clubs, which we'll talk about at a later date, and lay out a short game system for you on what club to use, where, when, and why. But today I just want to talk about chipping and pitching fundamentals. Biggest thing for both chipping and pitching is a super light grip pressure. If you have a firm grip pressure, you're going to struggle with distance control, you're going to struggle with touch and feel. You're also going to struggle with if you hit the ground before the ball. If you got a firm grip pressure and you hit the ground before the ball, it's going to snag up your club. But if you have a really light grip pressure, I'm talking like you got a baby bird in your hands and you're trying not to hurt it. Super light grip pressure. And then if you hit the ground before the ball, your club is just going to flow through that grass. It's a lot more forgiving if you have a super light as possible grip pressure when chipping and pitching. When chipping, we want to make sure that our left arm and club head stays in a straight line with each other for the entire swing. Okay, so I like to think of a grandfather clock-like pace here and a super light grip pressure, grandfather clock-like pace. And when pitching, I love what Phil Mickelson says, the hinge and hold. I like talking about bad degrees of wrist hinge, okay? So this is 90 degrees of wrist hinge, 0 degrees of wrist hinge when we got that nice straight line, bad degrees of wrist hinge. Unless we're hitting a flop shot, we don't want to see bad degrees of wrist hinge. So we're gonna hinge on this side. Once we get to straight, we stay at straight. So you chip as far out as you can. Well, I take that back. When chipping and pitching, the biggest stroke I'll take is 730, okay? So this is 6, 9, halfway in between is 730. This is the biggest chipping stroke I'll take, and this is where I go for every single pitch I take, okay? So every pitch I have is always at 730, and then I affect change in distance by how much wrist hinge I have. If I put 90 degrees of wrist hinge on it, that's a full half swing. And then if I want less distance, I put less wrist hinge on it. The less wrist hinge you have, the more you're able to control those distances. So that's inside of a half swing. And then outside of a half swing, we have a half swing, 2/3 swing, 3/4. If you want to be like the tour pros, you have a 1 through 10 swing that go different distances. But in a chip, maintain that straight line for the whole thing. And then for a pitch, we're going to hinge. Once we get back to straight, we stay at straight. So look forward to seeing you for the next one, where we start to lay out a short game system, what club to use when and where. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the golf course real soon.